For years, American mobsters had paid off the old dictator, Batista, so he'd let them run the casinos. Now Batista and the mobsters skipped town. Castro shut the casinos and took all the cash. But one mobster stayed put, Santo Trafficante. The mafia boss of Florida was betting that Fidel would see the light, reopen the casinos, let the good times roll again. A bad bet. Castro began executing hundreds of people connected to the old regime. In June 1959, Trafficante was arrested, put on a list to face the firing squad, at which point his faithful lawyer, 36-year-old Frank Ragnaro, flew to the rescue, negotiating with the Cuban Minister of Justice, who accused Santo of being a drug kingpin based on his last name, Trafficante, which in Spanish means one who traffics.
I said, if you're going to judge him by his name, then we should refer to him as a saint, because Santo in Italian means saint.
Ragnaro got Trafficante off the execution list and out of the country. Carlos Marcello, Santo Trafficante, Jimmy Hoffa. All three of Ragnano's high-profile clients wanted the Kennedys out of their way. A delicate spot for any lawyer, especially one becoming famous for his ties to the mafia. In the summer of 1963, Ragnaro let himself become the courier for a series of messages between Hoffa and the mob. On July 23rd, at Teamsters headquarters in Washington, D.C., Hoffa took Ragnaro aside. He had a message he wanted Frank to give to Santo.
We went to the executive dining room, and there was no one in there. And he said, something's got to be done. It's got to be done right away. He says, when are you going to see your friend? They got to kill this fellow. They got to kill John Kennedy.
The next day, in an Orleans coffee shop, Ragnaro delivered the message to Santo and Carlos, thinking it was a joke.
Instead, they glanced at one another in stony silence and looked at me as if I got the distinct feeling that I was bringing up a subject that shouldn't be brought up in a public place. I'm ashamed and I'm embarrassed to say that I was very happy about it all, because we're going to get rid of Bobby Kennedy now, and he will no longer be Attorney General.
The mob's enemies had become Ragnano's enemies. The lawyer was losing sight of his profession. That evening, the mob lawyer joined Santo Trafficante to celebrate.
Santo was saying, salute in Italian, salute, the president's dead.
And there they were, Trafficante, the mobster, Frank Ragnaro, the lawyer, toasting to the death of the president.
Despite tantalizing evidence, American justice has never been able to prove that the mob killed President Kennedy. But a month after the assassination, Carlos Marcello gave Ragnaro a message to take back to Jimmy Hoffa, whose nickname among the mobsters was Marteduzzo, Sicilian for Little Hammer.
When you see Marteduzzo, you tell him that he owes me and he owes me big.